How are you doing, guys? Back with another video, actually a series, but yes, I'm gonna start a series that I am going to talk about C++ from a beginner perspective, which we will start with an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment, which we are going to need for any C++ things that you write, the script, yes. So there are two choices that I like the most. Well, there are CodeBlocks, which I heard from the new Boston, which he used a long time ago. That was a long time ago, very long time ago. So it looks like this, which I've installed already. It looks like this. It looks pretty old. But there's a new one, actually. It's probably older because of Microsoft, but it's Visual Studio, Microsoft Visual Studio. You might already heard of it. It's well, I've already made a video about this, right? Yes, this. It's Visual Studio, and we are going to use Visual Studio because I like it. I like Visual Studio, and it does more things than CodeBlocks. And when you write a C++ script, then you will need to run it, correct? Because it's for, well, gotta open it, C++, and it is for computer softwares, programs, mobile applications, or well, anything you like. Games, yeah, it supports Unreal engines, which I am using right now. Unreal, yeah, Epic. So yes, um, and when you actually made the code, which you wrote the code, you will need to run it. And how do you do that? You don't. The extension of C++ is cpp.cpp, which is at the end of the file, and it doesn't run on Windows or any platform. It only runs with a compiler where you compile it and you run it with an exe file, which is exclusive file, is it? .exe. Is it exclusive file? It's executable. Oh, I got it wrong. Yeah, executable file, but it's, I forgot. Is it exe? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see that. But there, I am actually, if you like, you can use CodeBlocks, but I don't think it's for Mac OS, so I'm not gonna use this. Well, I'm on a Windows machine, but I'm not gonna use that. And here are many choices. And if you are using CodeBlocks, you can just make, actually I'm gonna do this later on. So here are many choices. Here is Visual Studio and Visual Studio Community 2017, Visual Studio Professional 2017, and Visual Studio Enterprise 2017. But if you're on a Linux or Mac OS, you can use Visual Studio Code, which works on Mac OS and Linux. The rest only works on PC. Well, actually Windows machines. Yes, and this too is free, but this too is, well, it pays. You need to pay it. You have to pay it to get it, which I am using the Enterprise 2017, and the license applied. Yeah, it's my account, Enterprise 2017. Looks like this, but there aren't that much difference between Community, Professional, and Enterprise. So maybe you'll use Community, maybe you'll use Visual Studio, depends on what you like and where you are using it. So you just, actually I'm gonna, yes, cause most people use Visual Studio, no thanks. Visual Studio Community, I'm gonna keep that. Actually gonna, and then you'll get a file called this. When you double click, yeah, and you will go in. Yep, you will go in and it's extracting files. It's installing a very small program. Don't be worried. Continue. I'm not gonna install this right now because I have this already, and this program is, well, what I installed is 35 gigabytes, this program. But if you only want the main software but not all the extensions or the other things, which does more things than this, why isn't it opening? I don't know. Anyways, you're just gonna click few times and you will get to here. Yes. I don't know why it's not going, but anyways. Yes, I'm gonna do it again. Yes, maybe not. So actually, Visual Studio is not only for C++, it's also for C Sharp and C program. And it's not going, so you're just gonna click. You don't want any extension. If you don't want any extensions or you want some extensions, then you will click on the extensions. But if you don't, actually I'm gonna open it from here. It will be easier for me, way easier for me. So I am actually gonna start with the CodeBlocks thing, which I will show you how you can create a project and how you will run it. You can just click here and you can create a project, or you can go to File, New, and then Project. And here are many, well, many choices that you can make. The only thing we want is a console application which runs in CMD. If you don't know, CMD writes like this. That's a CMD, command prompt. Which I think I had, yeah, I had why did I do that? I had a how does it go? Series about CMD. So let's go to console applications. I am not feeling well today, am I? Okay, so C++. Now C, it's another completely different language. Next, and you will name your project title. Just gonna name it. That made sense. YouTube and your folders to use. So I'm just gonna that happened. Yes, so it's gonna be D projects. Nah, anyways, you can have anywhere you want. You can have it on the desktop. But anyways, next, and the one you want is GNU space GCC space compiler, which is the best compiler I can use possible over here. There's actually Microsoft Visual C++ Toolkit 2003, but and Visual Studio, I mean Visual C++ 2010, which you can use this. It's pretty good, but I want to use the GNU. It works better on any machine. So when we click finish, we will probably get the, or we will not get the, oh yeah. So you go to your folder, CodeBlocks project, YouTube, yes, and you will have these two things over here. You'll probably have a bar over here, but I don't like it, so I don't use it. It's a bar that shows all of this. So you're gonna click .c. No, actually, I'm gonna just gonna drag this. So this is a C++ file, which is a program that only contains hello world. This is the easiest code in the whole C++ thing, and it only puts hello world on the screen, white. So yes, that's how many words you need to write only hello world. Correct. Why did I open that? Yes, and here are two different ones. This is the project file, which you don't need. It's only for the code blocks. And this is a CPP file, which you will need, which you can just get from a new and then file, C++. Skip this. Next. Okay, I'm not gonna do that, but it does the same thing anyways. You can just do that instead of creating the project. So this, how can you run it? Exactly. How can you run it? So here is run, which you haven't built it yet, so you will have to build it, click build it, and then run it. Yes, or you can just click build and run, and it will run. This is a hello world thing. It contains hello world. That's what I said before. That is. So when you click anything, like the left, right button, anything except the mouse, you can close it. Press any key to continue, which you will just close it, and it's hello world. Yes, and this happens, but it's a different thing in Visual Studio than this. Yes, so how do you create a project in Visual Studio? There aren't that much difference between enterprise and professional and community, so you will actually do the same thing in everything, in the every software that Visual Studio has. Yes, so you just click new project, or shift control N, control N, control shift N. That's what I do all the time. So it's going to be Visual C++. It will always go to Visual C Sharp because it does more things than C++. Well, actually not more things than C++, more platforms, but actually not more. Why did I say more things? So C Sharp does more. No, actually, C Sharp supports more platforms, but not more things. C Sharp, C++ does more things, but not more platforms. So yes, you're gonna click on C++ on installed. Yes, and you will just click on this, but not those. It does the same thing, but don't do that. And you will need a Windows console application, but not the desktop application. The desktop application is a desktop app, which is desktop software like this Visual Studio, like Google Chrome. But we want the console one or the ampli. You can choose any one you want, but not the desktop one. At least, well, no. If you want it, you can use the desktop one, but I don't want it. So, anyways, I'm gonna use YouTube, also YouTube, and I'm gonna browse the place where I want it to be. Projects, Visual Studio projects. Yes, that's where I want it to be. Yes, and then click OK, and I'm gonna go to the folder while it's actually creating the. Yes, it's created. Or is it? Yes, it is created. As you can see, it has way more things than the other one, than the CodeBlocks. That's why I said that it does more things than the CodeBlocks. And it looks pretty similar, but not exactly the same, because it's not the same. But, anyways, I'm just gonna copy this. So this, well, without this, this is the basic CPP, which does nothing at all. So I want to copy this, which contains the hello world. So you will get what this means and what this means. It's the same thing, but you get it what it means. So in this, well, in Visual Studio, it's kind of different. So you will need to build it, actually compile it, and then debug it. But, well, that's the way, but we can use local Windows debugger. Don't know if that works, but we will see. And it's going. Failed. Yes, it failed. So there is actually an arrow over here. Error. So I'm gonna actually copy all of this and paste it here so it will make sense. Yes, so it's building. And yes, actually you're not gonna do that. That was just a testing for me, but you're gonna actually you can write control F7. I'm doing it right now, and it's building successfully, and then debug, which is F5. You can start without debug or start with debug. I am gonna start with the debug, which will take a little more time and it will not show up. So you will want the Control F5, which this will show up. Yes, it's the same thing. Actually, it does kinda slow. Well, it needs more steps than just clicking here. Same thing over here. And as you can see that here is process return thing, this line, but here isn't. That's because this is code blocks, and when the code blocks, the group, the developer who did this wanted the time and the things on the terminal. Actually, no, not the terminal, the command prompt that you open. So it does more things. I mean, Visual Studio does more things. Yes, and that's all for today. And thank you guys for watching. See you. Bye bye.